It's a beautiful sunshiny day in the Rockies as the Broncos are getting set to host the Houston Texans. Hello friends, Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms. A little history here. First time ever the Texans have been featured in a national doubleheader game. And of course they're coming in here at 2-0 while the Broncos are coming on 1-1 off a loss on Monday night. What do you expect we're going to see here?
Well, the Texans deserve to be in this game. They're excited, but they're excited because they want to see their football team against what they perceive one of the best teams in the league, the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos, we know they're edgy, but they're still upset about a game they thought they let get away on Monday night.
This game is being brought to you in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. Now, the Broncos won the coin toss, want the football. Playing an afternoon game for the first time this season after a pair of primetime appearances. And we're going to begin with a touchback as Graham sends it to the back of the end zone. And Peyton Manning coming out at quarterback. Coming off a performance last Monday night with those 3 interceptions in the first quarter, but then almost from a 20-0 hole led them back to victory. They fell short there in Atlanta. Here's his line with Ramirez starting at right guard. He's a Houston kid out of Willow Ridge High School. And Dreesen, the former Texan, coming back to his home state of Colorado. And the first play goes to McGahee. A big hole for McGahee, who rumbles ahead for 15. Finally tackled by Quinn in the secondary, coming off a huge performance on Monday night.
Nice job inside, blocking by that offensive line. We saw it last week. When they got behind, they got back in the game, Jim. You talked about it because they were able to run the football.
So McGahee coming off a 100-yard performance and a pair of touchdowns in the loss to the Falcons. Great blocking up front to lead that. And here's the pass, incomplete. Coming over to McGahee. That was Cushing right on top of him. And let's meet now this Texans defense led by coordinator Wade Phillips, and they lead just about every statistical category in the league. Watt already with 3 sacks on the season. Their captain on defense is Cushing, who was in on that last play there to defend. And Joseph. We look across the field, see Joseph on Demarius Thomas here in that matchup. 2nd down and 10, double tight end formation here for the Broncos. And that's going to be 3 yards added to McGahee's total. And again, Cushing on the tackle. Cushing moving to the inside here under the direction of Wade Phillips.
Yeah, one of the first moves Wade Phillips made when he came to be defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. Take Brian Cushing from an outside linebacker, put him inside. Brian Cushing told us, hey, I can see more back there, no doubt, and he can run sideline to sideline, and he is an all-out effort player.
They did not allow a 3rd down conversion all of last week, the Houston defense against Jacksonville, and 14 straight stops on 3rd down. Here it's 3rd and 7, and Manning pass just a little bit too wide of the mark there for Jacob Tamme.
Looked like the football got tipped that time, and it was a quick pressure by this Houston Texans defensive line. They know it's going to be past 3rd and long. So pin your ears back and get, boy, Brian Cushing just knocked somebody over. And Daniel Manning trips. I thought he got picked going across the field, but he falls down, wide open receiver.
Well, it was Cushing who got a fingertip on it, and the Colquitt punt is fielded by Holiday right on the sideline at the 6. Beautiful piece of punting there by Colquitt, 56 yards. It's now 38 punts inside the 20 over the course of the last 2 seasons. That's strong stuff. And speaking of strong stuff, Matt Schaub coming out the quarterback. He's won his last 6 starts, has not thrown an interception through the first 2 games. His line, some questions coming into the year about the right side, but they've been really good the first 2 weeks, including Derek Newton, the 2nd-year man out of Arkansas State. And of course, Arian Foster. Houston coming off a pair of 20-point victories over Miami and Jacksonville. And last week had the football for over 43 minutes. A little play action, 1st down. Schaub's in trouble. Does he get out of the end zone? No. by the Broncos. Elvis Dumervil getting in on Schaub.
Elvis Dumervil against Derek Newton, just beats him around the corner. Gets pressure, gets around, the coverage down the field, makes Matt Schaub hold that extra beat. Matt Schaub very aware. Speed rushers on the outside. That is the big worry for this Texans passing offense. Backed up, crowd noise. You've got to be extremely aware, Jim, and you've got to get rid of it even quicker than you probably want to.
I tell you, Dumervil almost was able to get the strip sack. He gets the safety. Instead, Schaub somehow able to pin the ball against his body.
Well, I think you said it right. There is some concern when you talk about the Houston Texans. They know the matchup problems. Derek Newton against Elvis Dumervil or Von Miller. And, of course, the Denver Broncos, always you look, where do we think we can get an advantage in the game? That is one spot. When you think you have an advantage, you've got to make it work for you. So Jack Del Rio, good job. Gets Elvis Dumervil out there and gets that safety right from the start.
And there is Del Rio, the longtime Jacksonville coach who's faced this Houston team 18 times as a head coach. And that was a matchup that, again, as you said, the Texans were concerned about. Newton trying to hold off a hard-charging Elvis Dumervil, who had not registered a sack through the first two games, but gets one on the first snap of this one for that Broncos defensive unit. So the free kick by the Texans. Donnie Jones sending it down to Jim Leonard. Leonard met at the 40-yard line. Hit by Nady. But Del Rio loving the way his defensive unit handles the first play of the game. So Manning and company come back out at the 40. You see his record against the Texans. All those years battling in the AFC South, 16-2. Quick little throw and the completion to Eric Decker for about 5.
See those quick throws to the outside by Peyton Manning. I actually talked to him about a little with that, Jim, and on Friday when we saw him, and he did not throw quick outs and those type of routes when he was with the Indianapolis Colts. But when you get off coverage, people are worried about your running game, which you have to with Denver. You can get some easy throws outside.
McGahee, the single back. They're going to go to him on 2nd and 5, and he comes close to a first at the 50 into the arms of Kareem Jackson. Brooks Reed. Looks like it can be a 3rd and less than a yard.
Well, when you're going to run the football, why not run it behind Zane Beadle, 68, and then the left tackle, Ryan Clady, one of the best. And how about the wide receivers outside, keeping those defensive backs away so McGahee can cut inside and get that first down?
Yeah, they did get the first down. In fact, they originally spotted it inside of the 50, but now the nose of it's right on the line, and it is a new set of downs for Manning at midfield. Gronkowski. Chris Gronkowski, the fullback, able to take that one for 11 more.
Well, when you play this Houston's defense, they're going to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. Gronkowski coming out of the backfield. Look at 56 Cushing. He has to come from the inside. You have to worry about running into wide receivers, some of your own players. That's why Gronkowski was open. Easy throw for Peyton Manning.
At the Houston 39. And first down to the ground. The sidestep move, and nifty it is for McGahee at another 5 yards. It was a miserable start on Monday night for this Bronco bunch in the first quarter, but looking in rhythm right now.
Yeah, showing more patience right here at the start of this game. Quick passing, have respect for the defense, and run that football, Jim. And I think we heard it from everybody, from the quarterback to the coaches. Let's just be patient. Don't be so aggressive early in the game. Get off to a good start, and then enjoy the fight.
They had 4 turnovers overall in the first quarter at Atlanta. 2nd and 5, and Manning on play action zips in. It's deflected away by Jonathan Joseph. Thomas was the target.
Well, how about that coverage down the field? You're going against Demaryius Thomas. He's fast, he's big, he's all in one as a wide receiver. The play action fake, nobody between these two and Peyton Manning. That is excellent coverage. Doesn't hinder the wide receiver, gets his right hand in between Thomas's and knocks it away.
3rd and 5, and they'll go shotgun here. With Lance Ball now entering the lineup, flanking the quarterback. Looking left, buying time, middle of the field. He's got his man. It's Tammy with the first down catch near the 20. His former Colt teammate for 14.
Now look, Peyton Manning wants to throw this football underneath. They got it covered, but the second window with Jacob Tammy. He waits, steps up in the pocket, and throws it in there. A lot of questions about Peyton Manning's arm. That was the discussion all week. Friday's practice, he was okay. Warming up today, I thought he was, what a difference. I thought he was excellent warming up today.
And it's Lance Ball going to the short side as Broncos were able to convert on 3rd down, something Houston had not allowed since midway through the opener against Miami.
Houston, they can hustle, Jim. They are fast, hard to go sideways when you run the football against them. To me, it's hard to say this about any NFL team, a little undersized inside. That's where I would attack them if I was running the football.
2nd down and 10. Lined up in the eye. Big fake to McGee. Looking toward the end zone and unable to get to his feet in time and no flag. Wow. That was Dreesen, the former Texan, tangled up with Daniel Manning and no call.
It's the same route that we saw last week in the end zone against the Atlanta Falcons, but it was the Demaryius Thomas. It's a little fake outside, and then he breaks back inside. Top of your screen, 81, watch it. Oh, what a sell by him. Couldn't tell right there, but it looked like initially live, Jim, that he reached out and grabbed him and pulled him down.
So now a 3rd and 10. Setting up a little screen. And with the helmet off, Cushing in on the tackle. Picks up 6 for McGahee. There was never anything really there for him, and he was able to weave to pick up a few.
Well, it's a conservative play call, but it's smart. Know that they have a good pass rush. The only thing that stops this is the speed and the hustle of people from behind the play getting in there and stopping it. Brian Cushing makes a big hit. The helmet comes off, but his hustle, along with some of his teammates, stops the first down.
It'll be a 32-yard field goal attempt for Matt Prater. He's only had 1 attempt so far on the season. He made it. Now he is 2 for 2. So 6 minutes 19 seconds into the game, and it's 5-0 Denver.
You know, Jim, what a start by the defense for Denver. And you know, that safety, you kind of forget where you got a punt from, and the field position the opposing offense is going to get right away. The Broncos take advantage of it somewhat and get 3 points. I promise you, though, the Houston Texans are going, wow, okay, we've avoided a lot here. Start this game. But you look at this, Derek Newton, that is a tough assignment to put on your right tackle, backed up into definitely, I think, the loudest end zone on this field. A drop back pass, that's tough.
We met with Coach Kubiak last night. They were so concerned about this, about the Denver defense getting the edges, that they practiced all week long by giving the defensive players in practice a half-a-yard start. So they were lining up offside.
They lined up offside, yeah, to get it ready.
To try to get guys like Newton ready for what it's going to feel like out there, to try to simulate snap conditions in Denver.
Yeah, that's a technique a lot of teams use, Jim, and it makes sense, because when you're on the road, the crowd noise, you're going to be just a little bit of about half a beat late sometimes, and you just got to find a way to make up for it.
Trendon Holiday. People down in Houston know what he can do. Watching him in the preseason. Scored 3 touchdowns on punt and kick returns. Not going to see a whole lot of action today, I don't believe, in the thin air on kick coverage. There were 11 kicks here in the game against Pittsburgh, and only 1 was returned. No chance with this one. Almost into the first row.
That was into the wind, too.
You can watch fantasy football today to get game time player news, inactive updates, and help set your lineup. Chat with the experts live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports, and at CBSSports.com/live. So, barely even able to set the Texan lineup. This should just be their second snap of the game. And again, it's play action. This time the pocket seal, and the pass complete to Kevin Walter. Good for 18.
Well, they got a little space, crowd noise, not as bad. Nice play action fake by Matt Schaub, and he steps up. And this is what I like about him. People always ask me, hey, is Matt Schaub one of the elite quarterbacks? That word elite comes out. I don't know if he's elite, but he's really good. And when he has to, he can step into the throw and put that extra little oomph on it and get it in tight spots.
First down, the first carry for Foster, who slides outside, and Arian Foster, he slides and glides and gains 12 to the 50, running behind Graham.
Well, if you said the word glide, you said the right word for Arian Foster. Look how nobody's getting off the blocks. That's the key. And when you run the ball as well as they do, look at that. Garrett Graham, 88, seals the edge. Andre Johnson down the field getting blocks. If you're a good running team, you got a good blocking tight end, and you got some wide receivers who are unselfish, and they'll try to help you down the field.
Andre Johnson to the right. And Walter is going to switch sides with him. And a flag is down. Jerry Frump, the referee.
Ball start on the offense. Number 76, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
This Denver defense, let's meet this bunch. The defensive coordinator, Jack Del Rio. Dumerville already making a play here, a sack and a safety. Von Miller, of course, you talk about rushing a quarterback, one of the best in that secondary. The legend Bailey on one side and the former St. Porter on the other. First and 15 now for the Texans. And there's movement on the right side, and that's Derek Newton.
Ball start on the offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You know, last night we talked to Matt Schaub about snap counts. And you got to realize as a quarterback, the environment we're in here right now, crowd's a little pumped up because of the previous penalty. You need to get your team up there and make it simple for these offensive linemen. Let them fire off and hit somebody. Don't let them sit there and keep thinking and guessing if they hear the snap count.
Now first and 20. Schaub still has it. He's looking down the field, wide open. Andre Johnson in stride, and he's home for the touchdown. Andre Johnson beats Terry Porter, and the Texans.
Well, here he is. It's a great play action fake, a bootleg. That's when they like to go deep. But watch how long he sells it and then goes back across the field and makes this work. Down the field, you think you got him. You got a safety inside, a corner outside. Oh, no. And you forget. Even talking to these Denver Bronco defensive backs, they said, look, this guy has not slowed down. He can still run with the best of them. I believe him too now.
Well, it was Tracy Porter, I should say, that was on the coverage. And you talked about this with him this week. You said you think he still has the speed. You asked him specifically about Andre Johnson.
And he said, look, yes, I'm going to respect him like he was at the prime of his career, which he sure looks like it when you watch him run in warm-ups, and he showed it right there. The big thing is, 2 times a day we've seen it, It's the sell. Look how long he takes it outside. He looked outside. And Tracy Porter, it's not all his fault.
No, he had no help.
There was supposed to be a safety in the deep middle.
Look at the eyes of Andre Johnson on his way to his longest touchdown catch.
He looked it in all the way.
Since 2009, it's 60 yards in all. Yeah, there was no one back there to support Porter.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was, if it was Mike Adams or Raheem Moore, but somebody should have been back. Remember, safety means you're the safety. Be deeper than the deepest receiver. He got caught looking underneath.
For Matt Schaub, that is career touchdown pass number 100.
Well, that was Mike Adams, the safety, that did get caught looking at a short crosser. You know, you talk about trying to back a defense off, that'll do it. And that was a absolute beautiful throw by Matt Schaub across the field, high and soft. There's that sneaky arm strength I talk about. Made it look easy. Like you hit the driver in golf, Jim. You swing at it smooth, and he just goes a long way.
Yeah, it goes 60 yards, just like the touchdown. Graham's kick is returnable, but after further advisement, Omar Bolden will take a knee. So we talked about Porter at first, but now you've identified Adams should have been in on that play as well, number 20.
Yeah, let's not just single him out. Let's watch him. He has deep middle. He goes a little, oh, there's the fake, and he sees, oh, he's going to throw it short across the field. And from what I can see, you always have to be careful about calling guys out, but what I could see, it did look like it was a 3-deep zone, and somebody should have been in the middle.
Wild start here, what has been a wild day already around the NFL. 3 overtime games as Manning's got a man down the field, and Decker slides and makes the catch at the 45. So the Broncos come back, run a little post, and pick up 35.
Here comes Decker. He came in motion. That makes defensive backs shorten up and get wider, and look at that window. They're worried at the top of the screen. It was double coverage on Demaryius Thomas. And it's Eric Decker. This is what we saw last year, Jim. All the time, going down the field, getting deep, and getting open. Good fake.
And hit down low by Jameson, fourth-year man from Michigan. Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS will feature Tennessee and Georgia. All the action beginning with college football today at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. Vern, Gary, and Tracy on the scene next week.
Now, both of these defenses, they're not afraid, Jim, and they're going to get up there and challenge. That's going to give you chances to go deep down the field.
After a 1-yard run by McGahee, it's a 2nd and 9. First catch of the game for Demaryius Thomas, who has been Peyton's favorite target through the first 2 weeks, including a touchdown catch in each of the first 2 games. We were talking to Demaryius Thomas about what it takes. How long does it take to get used to all the hand signals and all the play changing at the line with Peyton at the quarterback?
Demaryius has found out he's burning up some brain cells that he didn't burnt up before. Saturday nights, Peyton gives them all the new hand signals. It's like learning a new language, and hey, it's made him a better player. And of course, he's learned them because it looks like they're on the same page when you watch him play.
3rd down, 3rd and 5, down the field, almost picked, but there's a flag thrown in. Knocked down by Jonathan Joseph. Going back to Demaryius Thomas.
Holding on the defense, number 21. 5-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic, first down.
So Bryce McCain is called for that one, and the Broncos will continue the drive on the Houston side.
Yeah, 21 going against Brandon Stokely on the inside. You expect him to go across. That was a nice stop and come back out by Brandon Stokely. But again, it's pretty easy for a quarterback when you play a defense like this Houston Texans on 3rd down. It's going to most likely be one-on-one coverage. Pick your favorite matchup and throw to that guy.
Penalty moves the football to the Texans 35. And a lot of congestion over there on that left side for only one. McGahee. J.J. Watt holding down that side of the field.
J.J. Watt off to a great start this season, no doubt about it.
Don't you know J.J. Watt, when he was drafted in the first round a year ago out of Wisconsin, he thought he'd be seeing Peyton twice a year in that AFC South. Of course, didn't get to see him at all last year at Peyton's sideline. There's movement by Zane Beadles, the left guard.
False start, number 68 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
You know, I think just the feeling I got, just talking to the Texans and trying to figure out what they want to do on the defensive side against Peyton Manning. I think as they looked at this Bronco team, they said, look, let's stop the run and see if they can beat our defensive backs and our coverage and our pass pressure. And that's kind of hard to say when you go against number 18, but I think that was the thought coming in. It might be changing already.
Here's the draw. And it's Lance Ball. For only about 3. Again, this defensive bunch for Houston. What a transformation a year ago once Wade Phillips got on hand. And of course, he has history here, just as Gary Kubiak does with the Denver Broncos. The first, in fact, franchise to ever give him the chance to be the head coach back in the early 90s, succeeding Dan Reeves.
Well, when I see Wade Phillips, I say to a lot of guys around the league, you think coaching is not important in the NFL? It's not all about the players. They didn't get a lot of new defensive players. His style, his coaching took them from the bottom to the top.
Third down and 12. Peyton in trouble, and there's a flag thrown as he is sacked. And it's J.J. Watt along with Brooks Reed. Holding is going to be against Denver.
Just that sack.
Holding on the offense, number 65. That penalties decline. Third down.
They just compress the pocket. That's what's good about him. You know, J.J. Watt, 99, big and strong, just pushes Orlando Franklin back. And Jim, as we talk to all the Texans, what do they say? We just want to play harder we want to be the hardest working defense in the NFL. I don't know if they are. They're near the top.
Well, they have this attitude about going 100% all the time. It's something that Coach Phillips talked about, how Brian Cushing led the way. Colquitt with a second magnificent punt. The first one led to a safety. That one had been downed at the 6. This one at the 3. 39 yards this time. Of course, Gary Kubiak, his history here is extensive. A quarterback for so long. Started 5 games in his career, but he was there backing up John Elway in some really big-time years, and in 12 years as an assistant. The offensive coordinator, taking over then the Texans.
I said all the Bronco fans, they should recognize this offense. It's the one Gary Kubiak was part of and coached with Mike Shanahan all those years.
Ben Tate in at running back. On first down at the 3. Tate with a flag and the play whistle dead.
False start on the offense, number 75, half the distance to the goal, remains first down.
Corey Sunder. There's Gary Kubiak with John Elway. How about those two and all the years they spent together?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? John Elway running this team, Gary Kubiak, successful head coach.
That's the 3rd false start against the Texans here in this opening quarter. Able to step over behind the right guard and find 5, maybe 6 out of that behind Ben Jones, the rookie out of Georgia who comes in on this series.
You watch it inside. Chris Myers, good job, gets a good block. Ben Jones, you said it, right guard, comes in and pushes his guy straight back, allows Tate to get in there and get some good yards. Of course, they're always grabbing for that football once one guy has you wrapped up.
Two tight ends. Second down and 6. From the goal line, shot complete. That's to Owen Daniels for 3. It'll set up third and about 3.
And these fans are loud.
Well, Houston found that out on its first snap.
Yeah, they did. I think they found out down there in the goal line once again. Well, if you're going to shift guys around, move receivers, it's going to make that offensive line sit there. This time looks like they're going to line up and run the play.
Third and 3. Foster returns. They'll go with Arian Foster. He has the first down. And credit this time to Derek Newton, who helped spring him for 8 at right tackle.
Well, you said it. Ben Jones, right guard. How about, again, Chris Myers looking to seal by 55. And how about Wade Smith, left guard, down the field blocking. You understand why everybody talks about this run game. Jack Del Rio said, look, we got it figured out on the chalkboard. We'll see if we can get it done in the classroom, and that's right now on the field.
So able to get out of that jam. Backed up all the way to the 2 after that false start. On first down, a little slight hesitation, and now Foster taken off to the 40. Is that smooth?
Oh, it is.
You know, Phil, we haven't had that many chances to see the Texans through the years, so when you see a guy like Arian Foster for one of the first times, you do see a difference, don't you?
Oh, you do. You can tell. I said it looks like he's wearing a pair of skates. Ben Casey, what a job leading up in there. Just glides along and really can cover some ground fast. And also Owen Daniels down the field again. We talked about it. Good running teams. Everybody pitches in. You got to be a blocker down the field.
Owen Daniels had a good block on Raheem Moore. Picked up 22. And now Shaw in the area of Andre Johnson. Champ Bailey in the area too.
Good throwaway, nothing there.
You know, these two teams a year ago both won their divisions. They both played on wild card weekend as hosts. They both won before getting knocked off in a divisional round, but they had different quarterbacks a year ago in the postseason, that is.
You talked about Matt Schaub. You said it last night. You asked him about all that, and I'd say he's pretty determined this year. Don't you think so?
He says he's never been more determined.
Yeah, I believe it. You could see it talking to him. Preparation, getting ready.
Big Tate, second and 10. Tate fighting and scratching for every yard, and he's got 8 that time. And running behind Wade Smith.
You got to be a little concerned. Here comes the left guard around. That's Ben Wade. Oh boy, that's just a complete contact to Keith Brooking. And these two running backs, shoot, they compete against each other. I can understand why. Oh, look at that. Both of them so productive.
So Ben Tate with a good run will give him 9 yards, and that runs out the time on the first quarter. He'll have just a third and a yard to go when the second quarter commences. He's talking about this wild day with Kansas City and New Orleans in overtime, the Jets and Miami in overtime, Tennessee beats Detroit in overtime.
It is amazing. This game's off to a good start too. A lot of action, and you know, once it's settling down, I know it's early, but you can see why people think so highly of the Houston Texans. This running game and the speed on defense, it's a lot to deal with. And Gary Kubiak, you know, one of the first things, I've talked to coaches around the league, and it's not universal, of course, but everybody talks about his play calling, and I buy into it too. He keeps the offensive line aggressive, but he's also able to keep his quarterback, Matt Schaub, always in rhythm. And a lot of teams can't do that. You know, they want to run the ball, and it's just run, try to pick it up on third. Well, that's not Kubiak's style. Ex-quarterback, he knows what he has to do to keep Matt Schaub always on top of his game.
Well, you may have already seen it on your screen, but Kansas City has beaten New Orleans now in overtime, and the Saints fall to 0-3. Tennessee saw Detroit score 2 touchdowns in the last 18 seconds to tie a game at 41, but then beat the Lions in overtime. For the Titans' first win, they'll be playing at Houston next week. And the Dolphins and Jets, they're still going after in OT. You may have noticed we haven't even had a commercial break in this game because we got audiences all over the country. We're still waiting to join us here.
I like it this way.
Yeah.
I don't know if CBS likes this, but I like it.
Third down, 3rd and 1 to go as we begin the second quarter. Little stumble, Schaub able to hand it off though. And the first down is picked up by Ben Tate.
Yeah, I think Matt Schaub, maybe he got stepped on the right foot. I'm not sure. Boy, he gets, yeah, oh my gosh. Chris Myers worried about getting that cutoff block. Steps on his foot. It's a good way to break the foot and fumble, whatever.
You don't want to talk too much about Matt Schaub and his foot.
I'm not going to say anything, but I'll say, does he get, I don't know how he does it. I'd be slapping Chris Myers on the rear end. Get up. Because Matt Schaub gets lower than any quarterback in the NFL.
Coming off that Liz Frank injury of a year ago. First down 10. And pass met right away. It's caught by Casey. But that is, again, Tracy Porter making the stop for a 3-yard loss, in fact.
Yeah, it looks like the Denver Broncos, they're going to be alert for all the fake runs one way, quarterback rolling the other. That's their counter run, I guess you'd say, for teams that run this type of run game that the Houston Texans do.
Lester Jean is in the game, lined up wide to the right. Second-year man out of Florida Atlantic. Second down and 13, and Foster tries to squeeze through a tiny opening, but the Broncos are there to close it up. After a gain of 2, Mays and Miller combining on that tackle.
The one thing we have not seen yet from this Houston offense, and they do a lot of them, are screen plays. Harder to do against a defense as fast as the Denver Broncos, and they play a lot of tight coverage too, so hard to sneak away that guy you're trying to throw a screen to.
Let's start. Jean comes out after one play, and Andre Johnson lined up to the right.
2 best pass rushers to Matt Schaub's right, Dumerville and Von Miller.
Third down. 3rd and 11, and the Texans pick up another first down with Keyshawn Martin. A gain of 18.
Keyshawn Martin, 82, can really be a nice other side receiver. Oh, that's a fake outside going towards the sideline route and stops and comes back. And the pass blocking up front was magnificent. Matt Schaub had a lot of space. We got the 2 best pass rushers. Oh, they just muddle it up, don't they? Like
on first down. Open, middle of the field. Texans down to the 4 with Garrett Graham. Another 27 yards.
So quick. You got 3 tight ends right there together, and they make a mistake. They think, hey, I thought 3 tight ends. I'm looking for the run. All 3 guys get right by him. Matt Schaub, that's the one thing, Jim, we talked about, you and I. When he's under pressure, still able to get rid of the ball and complete passes. I've seen it a lot the first 2 weeks.
That's the 3rd play of the game already for the Texans. That was at least 20 yards. Of course, one of them a 60-yard touchdown throw to Andre Johnson. First and goal from the 4. The fake to Tate, the rollout. Schaub looking and throws it incomplete. He is walloped by Dumerville, but jumps back to his feet.
That was a awesome no throw by Matt Schaub. Champ Bailey in the back of the end zone. Top of the screen, number 80. Going across, he's got him. Andre Johnson sees him outside, he's going to stop. And Champ Bailey was right with it. And Matt Schaub somehow didn't throw the ball.
Schaub 6 out of 8. Completions to 6 different players. Second and goal. Foster gets about halfway, no, maybe down to the 3. That's about it. Adams and May both are in there to shut that off.
You said it. Mike Adams, safety, coming in there. The middle linebacker, Joe Mays. Boy, you talk about a guy that can hit. He is the perfect middle linebacker. Can run, tackle, take on blockers. You're playing the Houston Texans right here. Most teams, this is obvious passing situation from the 3, not for the Texans. They can line up and run their zone to the right or left.
3rd and goal. Toss to Foster, and he's in for a touchdown. He had Kevin Vickerson trying to chase him down, but he wasn't going to get there, and Foster finds the end zone.
Yeah, they caught him. They tried to bring the rush from his left. That put Vickerson on the running back. No chance.
The Texans convert 4 times on 3rd down on that drive. I'd like to welcome all of you just joining us as the Texans have just completed a 97-yard drive. With Matt Schaub's 2nd touchdown pass of this game. The first to Andre Johnson, this one to Arian Foster. This was on 3rd and goal from the 3.
Well, you see, Von Miller was to that side. They tried to confuse him. Who's going to block who? And all the linebackers on the rush. That leaves a defensive tackle. Maybe the biggest player on the Denver Broncos defense, Vickerson, trying to cover the running back out of the backfield.
And Foster, when you include the postseason last year, has scored a touchdown in 7 consecutive games. What an impressive 97-yard drive. Houston was down in this one early after surrendering a safety on their first snap when Schaub was sacked in the end zone by Elvis Dumerville. Of course, the free kick came back to Manning and the Broncos. They drove down and got a field goal from Matt Prater to make it 5-0. But now consecutive touchdown drives by the Texans. 60 yards to Andre Johnson, 3 yards to Foster. Jim Nantz along with Bill Sims here in the Mile High City. Again, I'd like to welcome many of you just joining us on a beautiful sunny day in the 70s now in Denver, where the Texans are out in front 14-5, trying to go to 3-0 for the first time in franchise history.
Well, the Texans are doing what we've seen the first 2 games. They play fast.
You saw Peyton Manning, for those of you just joining us, he's 6 out of 10, 75 yards. And that's Bolden upended before he could reach the 20-yard line. Merciless on the hit, 14-5 Texans. Back the 1-1 Broncos hosting the 2-0 Houston Texans. McGahee with a strong start to this game. He's lined up behind Manning. He'll take the handle here. Scoot ahead for about 5. Now let's get everybody up to date in this game. Like a lot of the action around the country today has been unpredictable and wild. The safety by Dumerville. Later a field goal at it for 5-0, but then the Texans struck long to Andre Johnson. And then just a few moments ago, Foster on 3rd and goal takes a little toss from Schaub, who in this game has career touchdown pass number 100 and 101. It's a 2nd and 5 here. Brandon Stokely entering the lineup in the slot to the left. Timeout called by Denver.
Timeout.
So with 10 minutes to go here in quarter number 2, and Houston has the lead at the moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Internet Explorer. Welcome to a more beautiful web. Farmers. Find a knowledgeable local farmers agent at farmers.com. We are insurance. We are farmers. And by Chrysler. Imported from Detroit.
Truly one of the bright lights ever for the NFL. Steve Sable, one of the members of his crew out here for NFL Films. You knew him well, Phil.
Well, I did. Ran into him all the time, and he was always a friend. Great to the player. He was great to everybody. It's the best thing you could say about a man, that he treated everybody with respect.
The second down here. Pass batted down, incomplete. That was Earl Mitchell who got a hand on it.
Yeah, Big Earl. He was going sideways and stuck up. It helps when you got an arm that weighs about 100 pounds. But he's going sideways. He did read Peyton Manning there. That was an awesome job. He's looking at him and moves to his left and knocks it down. And that was tight coverage down the field. That time by the Houston Texans. They are challenging the receivers of the Broncos. Going to do it right here too.
3rd and 6. Manning slides over to his right. And the pass incomplete. Going toward Lance Ball.
Peyton Manning had everything he wanted. It's a blitz. They pick it up out of the backfield. He's trying to throw a back shoulder throw. It's a good idea. Lance Ball just doesn't get there and get it. Here comes the blitz outside. Look at the pickup. Does a good job of shuffling. If it was a little higher, it was going to be a perfect throw.
And it's the first 3 and out for either side in this game. Colquitt with 2 beautiful punts. Landing inside the 10 this time. They try to boom a big one. It goes to the 30 to Trenton Holiday. And he falls at the 42. 52 yards on the punt. Andre Johnson and Arian Foster, both receiving ends from Matt Schaub. Well, someone has scored every time Houston's had the football. Of course, the safety Denver on the first, but back with a pair of touchdowns. And now the Texans set up at the 42 with Arian Foster out to about the 48. We talked about this matchup with Arian last night going against Peyton Manning. He said, hey, I had my breaking game against Peyton Manning. That was week 1, 2010, and he was over 230 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game.
He's, of course, Arian Foster getting a lot of publicity over the fact that he's changed his diet so much, and he changed his lifestyle. Don't want to say diet. He's now a vegan.
Yeah, true vegan.
True vegan.
He did a lot of research on it. Anything he does is done with a lot of thought. You can tell that about the young man. They fake to him here. Shot, loads it up. It's going deep again. Looking for Walter. Walter has it. And another long touchdown for the Texans. 52 yards to Kevin Walter. And it was Tracy Porter who was back trying to defend that one too.
Well, it's a weave route. It's the moving down the field. Watch number 83 in your screen going out. They really sell it. And look how soon Matt Schaub, under pressure, did the right thing. He threw it deep and down the middle. Good technique. Yeah, I got him. But that move across the middle and the leading across the field by Matt Schaub, it was perfect.
Getting everybody into the act.
Well, they said they were going to throw it down the field today. Denver giving them a chance.
Graham with the extra point. Schaub, 1 to Johnson, 1 to Foster, 1 to Walter. And the Texans have exploded here. Out in front now, 21-5.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new 90-inch Aquos LED TV only from Sharp. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Well, the Texans have a 97-yard touchdown drive, a 52-yard touchdown a moment ago to Walter, and a 60-yard touchdown throw to Andre Johnson. 21 unanswered in the 12.5-minute stretch. And again, another touchback. Hot summer, Keith Urban, as we enter the fall season with a warm day here in Denver. Broncos. First and 10. And a gain of about 2. Now, I know a lot of you folks joined us late because of the overtime action across the country. We talked about the Peyton Manning coming off the 3-interception game last week, and now he's throwing the football. You said he's been throwing it pretty sharply in this one so far. He looked better in warm-ups than you even saw year to this point.
I thought in warm-ups he was very sharp, Jim, had a lot of power in the football.
Over the screen side here. It's going to Dreesen, and Dreesen's got a running lane. And Joel Dreesen able to hurdle out toward the 50.
How about that? You play against aggressive defense. You have to do a couple things to stop it. That time, Quinn is on the blitz. And so who has got Joel Dreesen? Nobody. So take advantage of the fact that this defensive line and defensive front is just coming after the quarterback. Draws and screens, slow him down.
That's a 30-yard gain. Here's Manning. A little toss to Tammy, and Manning now is 8 out of 14 for 111 yards.
Now they want to be a little more patient today, this Broncos offense, but when you fall behind again like you did on Monday night, it just calls for, let's speed it up, let Peyton Manning call some of these plays.
Rookie Ronnie Hillman is in the backfield for the first time this year. Inactive the first 2 games with a hamstring. He gets the carry. And Hillman, third-round pick out of San Diego State, is met at the 38 by Jonathan Joseph. Picks up 5.
John Fox says this guy can stick his foot in the ground. When you hear a coach say that, that means he can change directions quickly and without effort. That's why he's in this backfield today instead of Noshawn Moreno.
Yeah, Moreno is inactive. They went with Hillman instead as the backup to McGahee. They fake to the rookie and down the field. Manning to Thomas. 25, 20, and out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Manning is down for a moment and then hops to his feet. He was hit by Brian Cushing after he threw the ball down the field and is roughing the quarterback call against the Texans.
Cushing on the blitz, number 56 right up the middle.
Personal foul. Number 98, blow to the head, roughing the quarterback. 15 yards at the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Well, they called it on Barwin, but I believe it was on Cushing. Nonetheless, with the long pass play for 23 yards plus the penalty, the Broncos are inside the 10.
Yeah, I couldn't see because it was quick. A lot of bodies there, but somebody hit him in the head with their hand.
First and goal with McGahee re-entering in the running back position.
All-out blitz, so he's changing. They have about 3 or 4 different all-out blitz plays he loves to check to.
Low snap. Peyton fields it. Throws it over the head of everyone. Just threw it away.
He was trying to get the inside receiver. Here's what they're going to do. Matt Willis going underneath, but they had nothing to do with that. They switched it off and made contact. So he saw the pressure, the blitz. They do a lot of different things, about 4 different plays. That was one of them. Houston Texans all over.
Second and goal now. From the 8. Running. McGahee. Met by Danielle Manning, and he's able to drag it out for about 3, but it'll be third and goal from the 5.
One thing is you watch these run plays, the running back is so much deeper than Peyton Manning. It's kind of a giveaway. And Danielle Manning that time, as soon as that football was snapped, he was flying up there to make the tackle.
There's Manning and Manning. They met in the Super Bowl a few years back down in Miami. Third and goal. Thomas wide to the left. Peyton looking his way. Peyton going to Demarius. Incomplete. Peyton loves this kid. Thomas talks about him as the biggest receiver he's ever had to play with in his career.
Yeah, he likes him. Bottom of your screen. This is against Jonathan Joseph. Too slow. The ball is really over his head before the football gets there. Or before Demarius even turns around. It doesn't matter. The coverage was tight. Didn't matter.
So the Texans are able to buckle down and stop them inside of the 10. Prater back out for another field goal try, 23 yards. 2 for 2 on the day. 2 red zone trips for Denver in this game. Both, though, end up with field goals. 21-8 Texans.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
We're back inside of 6 minutes to go in the first quarter here in Denver. Second quarter, and 21-8. A first quarter that was, well, without even a commercial break.
It's awesome. Just great action, a lot of tremendous plays. Of course, most of them by the Houston Texans.
Prater to the back of the end zone. What do you think Jack Del Rio was telling his defense earlier?
I know what he was. I won't say all the words, but it's do your job. He said it about 5 times.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC. Delivered fresh, prepared fresh with world-famous secret recipes. Come in today and taste why fresh is better.
Sherlock Holmes is back. Johnny Lee Miller, Lucy Liu. The new show that's being called The Standout. The premiere of Elementary Thursday at 10, 9 Central, only CBS. Raheem Moore has been taken out of that secondary for Denver, replaced by Chris Harris.
Well, I think they've had a couple mistakes so far in coverage where the safeties got out of position.
So now Harris, actually, they've got a 5 defensive back set back there. Moore is on the field. As Foster this time is nailed after a gain of only 1. Matt Schaub had thrown 1 touchdown through the first 2 games, no picks. He's got 3 touchdown passes in the first half here.
Well, he seemed pretty confident talking to us last night. In the first 2 games, especially last week, Jacksonville, a big team and they played really deep in the secondary. They make me march down the field. Hard to get those plays down the field. They're given an opportunity today against an aggressive defense, and I'd say he's taking advantage of every opportunity.
They empty out the backfield. Foster wide to the left on 2nd and 9. And Schaub is knocked down as the pass is deflected 2 off the hands of Justin Bannon. Von Miller was in the face of Schaub.
I would say really when they drop back to pass the football, it's just not one of their strong suits when you talk about the Houston Texans. They're about keeping you off balance, 3rd and short. Boy, I tell you, Matt Schaub, he's been under some pressure and made some really tough throws. 2 big ones so far today as he's getting hit.
And last pass, though incomplete, is in a stretch of 100 consecutive throws without a pick. Throwing down here, 3rd and 9. And tight coverage provided by Mike Adams. Well, McDaniels was the target. That defense responds to the outcries of Jack Del Rio.
Well, that's right. Just cover your guy. Don't worry about everybody else in the inside. That is an awesome job inside out by Mike Adams. Just nowhere to throw it. Matt Schaub really basically throwing the football away.
So Donnie Jones to punt it. To Winner. Has it across the 40. Good starting point coming up inside of 5 minutes to go in the half. 49-yard punt. In 2 days, you can't miss Dennis Quaid and Michael Chiklis, the world premiere of Vegas. Tuesday at 10, 9 Central on America's #1 network. So what do you think, Phil? What have you seen so far here with the Broncos? We'll see this offense again.
Well, I'll just take the Broncos offense against the Houston Texans defense. The Texans are daring them. They are crowding the line of scrimmage saying, we're going to try to stop the run. You're going to have to throw it against our defensive backs to beat us.
Going in here. Oh, pass through the hands of Demaryius Thomas. Denver so far in this game is 1 out of 6 on third downs, and again inside the red zone twice with just field goals produced.
They got the right plays here, Jim. Demaryius Thomas, again, the defensive back gets caught, can't cross the field with him. They've had a couple wide open receivers in those situations. That's what you do when they're going to play you tight. You run across the field, make the defender fight his way across.
Here it's a 2nd and 10. The blitz picked up. Pass to Stokely. Swarmed under at the 49. That was McGahee who picked up that blitz. Pass play goes for 6.
Blitz is going to come this way. Nice job of picking it up. That's Brooks Reed. Peyton Manning, man crosser. That's Brandon Stokely. They worked a lot on Friday. There are a lot of blitzes by this Houston defense. They'll keep you on edge.
And that defense calls a timeout. A 3rd and 4 coming up out of the break. 4:21 left first half. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher, all the latest scores and highlights. All that's coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
That was a good timeout by Wade Phillips. Confusion. Don't give up this first down. Use those timeouts on the defensive side if you need them, especially in the first half.
They run for it, and the Texans are there to meet it. That was Cushing coming up and closing in on McGahee and holding him to no gain.
Not even full release. They're up there again. They are not playing pass. Look at 56 Cushing. What did he say last night? It says it all. We are the aggressors. All right, I got it.
Is there any doubt based on what you're saying?
Well, there wasn't any coming in the game either. Yeah, this is Wade Phillips always has taught his defense to be aggressive, and this one is aggressive and talented.
He plays all out at a rate that he says he wanted the rest of the team to try to copy. Reminded him of Robert Brazil back in the old Oiler days. Anybody else would follow that kind of effort. Holiday is walked at the 16. Nate Irving is down on the field. Big hit on the sideline after Holiday fielded it. And it was Irving who delivered the hit, and he is down with a medical timeout. Irving still surrounded by the training staff of the Denver Broncos, injured while making the tackle.
Yeah, he has been moving. I've seen his arms and legs both. He gets blocked into the tackle, and it looks like he gets hit right on the right side of his helmet. It was not a head-on collision.
He was a 3rd-round pick out of North Carolina State by the Broncos a year ago. He's a former winner of the Piccolo Award, named Brian Piccolo, the ACC's Courageous Player of the Year award in the whole conference following his senior season. He missed the entire 09 campaign, recovering from injuries that had suffered in a car accident.
Yeah, Jim, you can tell they've taken his face mask off.
So we'll take a break here. Being able to walk to the bench. And the Texans ready to resume action at the 16. They go in around here with Martin. Deshaun Martin showing a big burst. The rookie out of Michigan State with 21 yards on the end around.
Well, the Houston Texans talked about it. It's a fast defense we're playing. That makes it tough, but they also open up some opportunities. Here's one of them. Over pursuit. Nobody on the backside, and you could see the speed of Keyshawn Martin. We saw it in the pass route. We saw it in the reverse.
Houston's fourth play that has gone for at least 20 yards. 2 plays over 50 for touchdowns. And it's been Tate. In the arms of 2 or 3 Broncos for no gain, including Bannon and company.
Yeah, you're right. Justin Bannon's the one that stopped that play, handled the center, just kind of ruined all the blocking for that Houston Texans offensive line.
Texans have 2 timeouts, plus the 2-minute warning, which is coming up. And after spotting the Broncos a 5-0 lead, this offense has been in gear. Punting only once. Setting up screen. Tight end screen for a first down, and it's Graham with his second catch. And it goes for 12. Right at midfield, and the 2-minute warning, and a new set of downs for Gary Kubiak. Back in the halftime report. The Verizon halftime report is on the way with JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher, all the scores and highlights. Concussion suffered by Irving. Not expected, will not return in this game. That's the word from the Broncos bench. Coming out of the 2-minute warning with a first down play call to Foster for 2. Dumerville the tackle.
Let's look at this play, this drive here so far, Jim. You look at it. The reverse that gets the first down. The screen play that gets the first down. Gary Kubiak, I call those coach 'em up plays. You can't always just ask the players to go out there and beat their guy physically. The coach has to give you help. This guy, Gary Kubiak, if you made me pick a play call in the NFL, I would pick him.
Second down and 8. Another long throw. Wide open man. That was intended for Daniels, and Mike Adams got there just in time to make sure it was batted away.
Yeah, got away from Matt Schaub. Let's watch as they go down the field. The 2 receivers, they break it up, and it's a break in coverage by the Broncos. You got man-to-man. There's 3 guys, 2 defenders. And Owen Daniels, one of the guys you want to focus on if you're trying to stop this pass offense, uncovered. Matt Schaub, not quite on the mark that time.
No corner in the secondary for Denver. Tony Carter is out there. Third down and 8. Schaub. What a catch. That's Daniels right over Adams, who had just denied him the previous play. 10 yards and a first down. Timeout called by the Texans. 1:10 remaining in the first half, and they're marching again, leading at 21-8. Look at this little number here, Phil. Last 5 games, including the postseason, in the last 2 minutes of the halves, and they're looking for more. 40-3. Got a new set of downs here at the 39.
It's all going their way, no doubt about it. They got this Denver defense. They got them in retreat.
Schaub was thrown for 199 yards and 3 touchdowns in this first half. To Foster. And just slices in to pick up 1 when there was nothing there. Woodyard had it shut down, as well as Chris Harris. Moving inside of a minute, and the Texans back to the line. Intended for Keyshawn Martin.
It's a good throw away, nothing there for Matt Schaub. Done a good job here today, not taking chances. Let's look top of your screen. There's Von Miller, double team by the tight end and the running back. That's what you have to do every once in a while. You don't want to do it a lot because you want to get your receivers down the field. The pressure of the defense is playing a lot of man-to-man coverage.
That would be about a 56-yard field goal from here. They don't gain anything if that's the route they go. 3rd and 9. Escaping the pressure, the pass is intercepted in an open sideline. It's Woodyard. Woodyard may have stepped out. He was the one who was just rallying the crowd here before the snap.
What a catch.
One-handed.
One-handed, jumps up. Now they're calling him out back there, Jim.
I'm not sure his heel ever really went down, but they marked it down. They whistled it down. How about this athletic play?
Yeah, it is. And Wesley Woodyard has just been tremendous the first two games, tackling runners, leading the team. That job under pressure all day long. He's been throwing it away. That time he tries to make a great throw.
Got a side judge right there who marked it. That was Bill Ersler, who was the line judge who marked him out, in fact, at the 40. Broncos have 2 timeouts in 34 seconds. Taking the line, stepping up, and a sack. And it's Watt again.
Well, that's what happens. They have rushers up the field and somebody underneath. That was J.J. Watt. That's why he gets the sack.
Timeout, Broncos. Coming out of a sack by J.J. Watt. And a timeout by the Broncos.
Oh, look at him extend the arms. Watch the quarterback. Comes off the blocker, makes the tackle. How good is that?
The AFC Defensive Player of the Week a week ago against Jacksonville. And flings it in, and it should have been caught by Decker. Would have been a first down.
Yeah, it's a couple drop passes here today by the Broncos, and Decker coming across the field. Kareem Jackson giving him room. The throw right on the money.
Yep. Third and 13, 17 seconds. There's a beautiful toss. Decker this time has it as he high steps over the bench. 22-yard gain with 10 seconds to go.
Well, you're going to let a quarterback like Peyton Manning move in the pocket, and you're playing a soft zone defense. He is going to find somebody open down the field.
The very least, they could bring Prater out for a long field goal try downwind. It would be about 59 yards from here, his career long.
Very makeable, of course. We watched him in warm-ups kick at 65.
Closer now. Down to the 34. Decker again, and timeout, Denver.
You and I were laughing watching the field goal kickers before the game. From 60 yards, they were hitting the top of the net.
Yep.
Now those are practice footballs. They're not game footballs that usually don't go as far.
Of course, Prater has one of the great legs. It's 12 out of 16 in his career from outside of 50. That's the highest percentage among all place kickers since 1970. Here's some of the warm-ups you're talking about. This is a little 54-yarder by Prater in warm-ups.
How'd that look?
Effortless.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, he kicks it so far, and the punters and kickers out here in Denver, they must just love it.
It'll be about 53 yards.
Makes you feel good. You play golf out here too, right, Jim? You go, man,
It's been a long time, my man.
I'm strong. I'm really
That's you.
Hitting a long way today.
53 yards. It'll be Colquitt on the hole. And Prater. Oh, this one. That one's top of the net. 1 second to go in the half, and it's down to 10.
That's a big 3 points.
Yes, it is.
It is.
I mean, just as well that Houston too was driving before the pick.
Gosh. It's not how far, it's also how high he kicked at that time. Gary McCord's up here in the booth. He could analyze that kicker's motion. Say, nice lag. He's in good position, and watch it here, square to the ball. pretty good golf talk, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, thank you.
McCord's giving you a thumbs up.
Is that a thumbs up?
How far would that have been good from?
Well, it's always, you know, the pressure. When you get farther away, they get a little tighter, I think, and try to kick it harder. But that would have been good easily from 60 to 65 yards.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt.
It comes on the heels of the first giveaway of the season in 10 quarters by the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans had done such a great job, Jim, of using the clock, keeping Peyton Manning on the bench, and probably we're going to get a field goal try, it looked like, in that drive, or at worst, nothing in that job. Of course, when you're under pressure as a quarterback, just make decisions you don't like.
Might be time to, instead of booming it, giving them a snap and a play from the 20. Going ahead and squib kicking it here. Bring us to halftime, and that's exactly what they do. Covered by Casey, and we reach halftime. 3 touchdown passes by Schaub, 3 Prater field goals, and a safety by the Broncos. 21-11, Texans at halftime. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Houston will be receiving the second half kickoff. At halftime, they honored one of the all-time Bronco greats, their all-time leading receiver, Rod Smith, goes into the Ring of Fame, and there's Pat Bowlen, the owner, to give him his ring. His name will be up there. You see Charlie Johnson, Frank Tripucka, and others. He's the 23rd member all-time in the Ring of Fame, their all-time leader, career receptions and yardage. Take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Schaub to Andre Johnson. And for Andre Johnson, the 60 yards, his longest touchdown catch since 2009.
Well, a lot of people wanted to see Andre Johnson. Hey, where's the big plays from him? This offense. They found him today. Sometimes you can only do what a defense allows you to do.
Again, will deny Holiday the chance for a run back. We'll bring it out to the 20. Talk about the 2 quarterbacks in that first half, their performances, Schaub and Peyton. What did you see?
Well, Schaub to the interception was magnificent. Peyton Manning, I thought, was just conservative, safe, didn't really try to push the football down the field. Anxious to see if he does that in the second half. But really, I'm anxious to watch Denver's defense. Are they going to pull back a little, quit being so aggressive, and make the Texans march the football, make more plays to get a chance to score instead of those long runs or long throws?
Arian Foster had 53 yards rushing in that first half. They fake to him. And again, he's going down the field looking for Johnson. And incomplete. Boy, it bounced around for a while, didn't it? With 2 Bronco defenders, both Adams and Bailey, also trying to get their hands on it.
Well, this was the old throw your hand up if you think you're wide open. Watch Andre Johnson. They have a switch. He threw his left hand up. Matt Schaub saw it. He puts it right on the money. But that's, Jim, tough catch over the shoulder. Oh, it hits his shoulder pad. Otherwise, he was leaning and going to get that catch.
And then he denied Adams the interception. He saw Adams trying to reel it in, and he became a defender. 2nd and 10. Foster to the outside, and Arian Foster up ahead for about 4 into the arms of Chris Harris. I mentioned almost 500 yards, 489 of offense between these two, and Schaub 199 and 3 touchdowns. Peyton Manning 168. No touchdowns, no picks. Third and 6 coming up.
Jack Del Rio, I'm sure he had a few choice words again for that defense at halftime.
Again, Tracy Porter is not out there. Sideline loud. That was Tony Carter defending and doing it well. Kevin Walter, the target.
Tony Carter last week played because Chris Harris, the nickelback, was injured. I thought he did a great job down in Atlanta. And you could see good coverage on the outside that time. Matt Schaub blitzed by the Broncos. A little surprise, but the good coverage on the back end rewards it.
So 4 straight incompletions for Schaub. And Donnie Jones is back out. Punting the last 5 years with the Rams. Sends it to Leonard at the 30, and it's just a 3-yard return. 46-yard punt. Tackle by Merciless. And Manning coming back out, down 10. You're looking at the NFL's only 4-time MVP. Peyton Manning, 3rd game as a Bronco. A win against Pittsburgh, a loss Monday night at Atlanta. Get in the game here in that Houston defensive front with J.J. Watt ready for it. And a loss of 2. You spent some time with Peyton. We both did on Friday and went through the whole how he got here, what he's going through, and what did you take away from it?
Well, you know, I think there's a lot of learning going on. There's no doubt about it. He's learning what his body and his arm can do in game situations. But I also think he's got to learn how many footballs can I throw during the week in practice? How many treatments do I got? Because you get too many of them, that'll wear you out too.
2nd and 12, he's got pressure, and he just throws it away. That was Antonio Smith who really broke up the Broncos' intentions on that play.
Well, he's under pressure. Nobody opened down the field, but it's a good job throwing it into the ground. That time, he knows that number 81, Dreesen's in the backfield, throws it at his feet, avoids the sack. But I think, you know, just going back to Peyton, there's a lot of experimenting going on, and pretty soon he's going to figure out what's best for his body, and that's when we'll see him, of course, on the field at his best.
3rd and 12. Escapes the pressure, throws it sideline. And that's incomplete and intended for Thomas. And Brooks Reed was the one that time in on Peyton quickly.
Well, you saw the first play. J.J. Watt had the tackle. He's a man. There's no doubt about it. Brooks Reed, you talk about him. Connor Barwin. The Texans have some people who can make plays on the quarterback. They got more than one. They just said 3 of them.
Colquitt. Good hang time here, but no chance to field that one in the penalty, even though it's scooped up by the Broncos. And Tony Carter, that's coming back. Omar Bolden in on Holiday. Of course, Bolden is a returner for the Broncos. He should know better. Got to give a guy a little space.
Interference with the opportunity. Number 31 on the kicking team. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Trendon Holiday had no chance. 15 yards.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Scottrade. See for yourself why so many investors are saying, I'm with Scottrade. And by the all-new Honda Accord. It starts with you.
Chip Nance and Bill Sims back here in Denver, Colorado with the Texans leading it at 21-11. Foster stacked up, ball is out, squirts out, falling on by a Texan. That's Newton who recovers it, but they may have whistled him dead. They did.
Even though they whistled it dead, it still could be reviewed. I don't know if you'd want to waste a challenge. If he's not down, yeah, it looks like his knee or the side of his legs were on the ground before the football came out.
So give him 3 yards. Arian Foster with 60 on the game. Looking for more right here. If able to squirt through a tiny opening for 5 more. Here's a little Sim spotlight for you.
Yeah, safety's back. Chasing guys underneath, allowing Andre Johnson to go deep. Not sure who made the mistake. Again, there's the safety looking for somebody coming across the field. I got him outside, you got him in. Who's got Kevin Walter deep? Nobody.
Third and 2. With a pass to Walter for the first down. And a flag is down.
Roughing the passer.
It's going to be on Von Miller.
You know it's going to be a pass that last play. When Kevin Walter comes in as a fullback.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 58 on the defense. That penalty will be added on to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
This is the second 15-yard penalty on Denver on this series.
Well, yeah, the penalty is taking him to the ground, hitting him, trying to drive him into the ground, Jim. You're not allowed to do that. Wrapping your arms around him, making the quarterback where he can't even defend himself. I know it's tough. I think we all agree now. Let's see. It's not about if we agree with some of these rules. It's for the safety of the players.
First down at the 36. For the deep ball, and it is. Oh, for a moment I thought he had reeled it in. His shot is down, and he's been hit, and he appears to be hurt.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 51, blow to the head, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Joe Mays is the one who clobbered the quarterback, and the Texans are so irate. Half the team is standing on the field, the active field. Back-to-back roughing the passer calls.
Seen it a couple times today, Jim, where Matt Schaub is hung in there.
With so much force, it popped the helmet off. TJ Yates is warming up on the Houston sideline.
He's bleeding too. Matt Schaub. Looks like his left ear. I saw blood.
First it was Von Miller, then it was Joe Mays on back-to-back plays. Roughing the passer.
I think really the force of the hit is what drove his helmet off, and the chest of one of the defenders might have hit his face mask, and that's what drove his helmet off.
Yates at quarterback gives it to Tate. Then Tate for about 3. Now, while we focused on what happened to Schaub, watch what almost happened here with Andre Johnson on Bailey's coverage.
You're right. Champ Bailey kind of lost sight of the football. He has it, and it looks like the last second. Watch Champ Bailey. Got his hand in there and knocked it out. What a play.
Incredible highlight right there for Bailey. How he never gave up, even as he was off balance off his feet. Denied the touchdown. Schaub has come out after missing 1 play. 2nd and 7. Foster squeezes it down to about the 13. So Matt Schaub.
Pretty determined. I think when you saw him grabbing his head, it's because the helmet came off, and one of those ear pads is what cut his ear. That's why it was bleeding. I think that's why he grabbed it, because those ear pads, those helmets are tight. So you pull it off without pulling it outward, it's going to hurt.
3rd down and 2.
Of course, the hit would hurt too.
That hit would hurt anyway. Foster, outside flag is down. Flag is down in the backfield. He's short of the first.
Holding on the offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Of course, when you talk about Matt Schaub, as you see the hold right here.
75 on the end of the line.
Matt really was not 100% until about July. Had another second procedure in April. Missed a lot of the OTAs, but again, telling us his motivation's at an all-time high.
Well, Gary Kubiak said it took really to the week of the third preseason game where he was in game shape, really sharp, and we saw it down in New Orleans. He played very well, and he's been sharp the first 2.5 games too.
Third down and 12. Middle of the field, incomplete. He was looking for Martin, and Harris right there defending. Bring out Shane Graham for a field goal try.
Tell you what they're doing, this defense. Chris Harris, boy, he was a find last year. He played the slot defender on third down. He was terrific. And so far today, picking up right where he did. Picking up right where he left off of last year.
And Graham is 5 out of 6 so far in this young season. 5th highest all-time field goal percentage in league history from 41 yards. Shane Graham right down the middle. But the Broncos remain within 2 scores, holding the Texans to a field goal. You can celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the NFL. Visit NFL.com/Espanol, official Spanish language home of the NFL for game highlights, fantasy football, and a first look at your team's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. There was one back here in Denver on Wednesday. Denver residents came out to Sports Authority Field, met with the players, signed autographs to the Broncos, and take pictures right next to those magnificent Lombardi trophies. Well, Peyton and the Broncos last week spotted Atlanta 20-0 lead, and had they been able to make one more stop, they very well may have won that game. They've been trailing most of the way in this one. Still well within range, though, as Bolden, rookie from Arizona State, tackled about the 26 by KO.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars and find the best deal on Autotrader.com. And by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, where will President Obama and Governor Romney be? Well, they'll both be on a special 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Manning comes out, drops back into a shotgun on first down from his 26. Lance Ball is in the backfield with him. Set up screen the ball, and he can't hold on to it. Would have lost yardage anyway, because Earl Mitchell read that all the way.
Well, you can't protect quarterbacks all the time in this league. Peyton Manning driven back, falls, hits his head on the turf, and then Matt Schaub back to back. Personal fouls against him. He got picked up, driven into the turf, and that view definitely concedes that helmet. Oh, that's why we had 2 15-yarders, like you said, Jim, on consecutive plays.
You don't see that very often.
But both
back-to-back roughing the quarterbacks. No, those are without question. Second down and 10, and the timeout called by the Broncos.
Well, Peyton Manning thinks it's going to be a blitz. So what he's trying to do is make sure everybody's accounted for. But it takes so long, runs out of time, and you use up a timeout. When you're behind in the second half, timeouts always crucial. Don't want to use them, of course, unless you have to.
Second down, 10. That's the play they pretty much attempted on first down, and that one loses a yard. How about the Falcons today? JP has the story.
Hey, Jim, Coach thought a lot more Michael Turner needed to be seen.
Well, I'll tell you what, 7 yards out right here. Matt Ryan already 3 touchdowns on the day, and for the season, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. A lot of weapons on that offense. Wow.
14 carries, 81 yards, and a touch for Turner. Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
All right, thank you guys. And low snap. Peyton able to field it. Gets away from the pressure. Gets the pass. With a flag thrown in the secondary. Stokely gets within a yard of the first down. It'd be 4th and 1, but there is a flag.
Holding on the defense, number 24. 5-yard penalty, previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Peyton doing a nifty job here of not only taking the snap that was low.
Yeah, it's another blitz up front. And really, when you see such confusion in front of you, it makes you jump outside. And he's done that quite a few times today. Jonathan Joseph, there you go. The quick stop by Demaryius Thomas sticks that arm out. That's why the penalty was called. But once he's got outside the pocket, it gives him an extra time, and he's finding some open receivers down the field.
They brought Hillman back in, the rookie running back. He gets the toss here on first down. And out to about the 33 for a gain of 2.
You know, you look at Hillman, yes, nothing today, but when you look at your offense, we just heard Bill Cowher talking about the Atlanta Falcons, all the weapons. You just keep looking for people who can take ordinary plays and do something special with them. A run where you can pick up 20 or more. Catch a short pass and run with it after you catch it.
I think they believe Hillman has that ability to do that.
Yes.
2nd and 8. Excellent protection. And that is knocked down by Reed. Intended for Tammy.
They got what they want. They got Bryce McCain on the outside. The top of your screen, Peyton's not looking there. Well, they're going to double team him, and they got it. But on the other side, watch the coverage at the bottom of your screen. Nice job by McCain. He stays outside. If Peyton Manning would have thrown it, it would have been big trouble.
Net this quarter, 7 plays by Denver, no yards. Wade Phillips' team outstanding on 3rd down. First 3 games of the season. 3rd and 8 on this occasion. After Payton, who launches it down the field, and Decker has it. Decker able to get away from the defender. There is a flag down in the backfield that may wipe out the 36-yard gain.
Holding on the offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
Manny Ramirez called for that.
Let's watch number 65. Here he is on the right. They're running a lot of games. Look at J.J. Watt coming inside, but they kind of get confused. Who's going to take him once he gets to a certain angle? And I'll say this. They didn't think about it before, Jim, but the Texans, it just can't be an all-out assault on the quarterback. You must stay in your passing lane. Peyton Manning getting outside, giving wide receivers a second chance at the football.
You see Chris Cooper out with the forearm injury for another week. 3rd down, and Manning is almost intercepted. 2 players had a shot at it. No yards for the Broncos this quarter. 55 yards in penalties, and they'll now punt.
Boy, he went for it there. That was dangerous. That was a game-changing play. He can throw it short. It's wide open. Not going to get the first down, but he takes a chance of going down the field. The safety sees it, runs in front of the receiver.
There's a low driving punt. We'll give Holiday a chance. Pauses for a moment. Now, nothing there. Waited and waited. Tammy waited with him. 52-yard punt. Just 2 yards on the return. Mid-3rd. Steve Sable. We lost him this week. His father Ed there on the right. President of NFL Films since 1985. Did he have an eye for the drama and an ear for just the perfect way to present it, the music and everything about NFL Films. The initials there, Steve Sable. He will be missed. Ben Tate running into the arms of Adams, and he takes him for a little ride, a gain of 5.
Yeah, I mean, nothing there, and you say it, 5 yards.
Schaub, that was rough journey that last trip, and
Oh, that's okay. It looks like your ear when you take your earrings out, Jim.
how that gets back to me, I'll never know. Yeah, you're on fire, man.
No, it's of course you don't wear earrings. We know that.
Inside and Tate only a yard. Tate really a little slow to move around. He's got 27 yards rushing. Now he's going to.
You said it
jog
again.
up. Yep.
What a great 1-2 tandem they are. And Gary Kubiak said, wow, do they compete in practice? And when you got another running back that's so good, well, you better stay on your edge and keep working hard. Stay ahead of him. Talking about Aaron Foster, of course.
3rd and 4. And incomplete. Kevin Walter and Chris Harris were over there together. Harris defending.
Yeah, it just looks like there's some indecision in the slot receiver up top. A lot of hand fighting down the field, but it took way too long for Kevin Walter to make a decision what to do.
Leonard back. The Texans gave up a punt return for a touchdown in week 1 against the Dolphins. Marcus Thigpen taking it 72 yards on him. Gorgeous kick. The second bounce into the end zone for the touchback. Listen, nobody knows the game like a quarterback. So don't miss Phil along with Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, NFL Monday Quarterback. Tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. I'm so happy for you. You have an outlet on Monday now.
Yeah,
because I've been on all these plane trips home. You got so much you want to say. Now you got a place someone actually can listen.
That's
they
it.
care.
Like you said, 3 quarterbacks in one room. Oh my gosh, it's a lot.
Do they get a chance to talk?
Sure they do. But you heard the host Adam Shine, and he's great. This is Adam Shine. You know, he's got this great voice. You were making.
Sounds like Charlie Jones.
Yeah, a little Charlie Jones in here, no doubt.
1st and 10, and Yankee for no gain. Grady James and J.J. Watt, and here is Watt, week 1, making plays. And again today, last week again, conference player, defensive player of the week. And that picks up only 1 on a little dump off to Hillman.
You think, well, why isn't he throwing it down the field? And I'm watching, I'm looking for those opportunities when Peyton Manning can take a chance, but the coverage is good, and they've shown they can handle the running game of the Denver Broncos with their front, so now they're getting more people in pass coverage, and they're double covering their 2 best receivers once they go out.
Hey, McGahee is out, shaken up on that first down carry. It's 3rd and 9. Very nearly intercepted. Going to Thomas. Right between Dimps and Joseph. And a 3-and-out for the Broncos.
Well, he liked this play, but here's the problem. Watch Joseph 24. He's got help inside, and Quentin Dimps just a hair late, but he was reading the quarterback, made a good break, and knocks the football down.
Colquitt angles this one, fair catch this time. Holiday at the 27. Punt traveled 52 yards.
Well, the defense is whatever they did at halftime. They sure figured it out on both sides. They're being aggressive and just not giving many opportunities for plays.
All we've had is a field goal in this quarter.
How about that?
1 yard for the Broncos in the 3rd.
Only 30 for Houston.
The last time these 2 teams met, it was the day after Christmas 2010 here. Tebow was the quarterback for the Broncos, and they were down by 13 in that one in the second half. Back in the 4th quarter. Broncos went on to win that game. Shot wide open target. Casey knocked down, but after a a first down was gained. Hit by Moore.
What a job. That shot. I mean, he's looking for the deep crosser, moving to his left, then throws it to his right. Ben Casey, a tight end slash fullback, does a good job being a lead blocker, can really catch the football. One thing about these Houston Texans, Jim, all these tight ends, fullbacks, running backs, they catch the ball extremely well.
First down at the 40. And a bootleg. Lobbed out of bounds.
Somebody didn't get the memo that time. It was a bootleg. You said it right, but there were no receivers.
Yeah. No one working with him on that side.
No, let's just watch it. Let's see who's going to throw it to. Two tight ends to the top of the screen. Here's Matt Schaub. Oh, here he finally comes. Casey finally gets out of the backfield, but it's so late and so slow. No chance to throw it to anybody.
The star Gene is in. 2nd and 10. And he makes the catch. Gene taken off. Gene to the 20 and down at the 15. That was right over Chris Harris.
Let's start Gene. One-on-one coverage. It's a blitz by the Broncos. Matt Schaub has the time, and what a job going up, attacking the football. Chris Harris kind of going for the play and just runs himself right out of position to make the tackle. And the Houston Texans kind of revamped their wide receiving core this offseason. They've been working on it. Keyshawn Martin, Lestar Gene, and they're both coming through for him.
That one for 46 yards. Foster just diving back to the line of scrimmage. Well, Arian Foster, you talk to him, you can tell rather quickly how much respect he has for the history of the league and his position, idolizing players like Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson, Barry Sanders, even admitting, not afraid to admit, he cried when he heard Barry Sanders was going to retire. Yeah. And great regard for Earl Campbell, the Houston legend. Arian saying, we want this team to rewrite the history books of our city. He's trying to be a part of it. 2nd down and 10. Daniels powers ahead for the touchdown.
That was impressive. Good timing right away. Owen Daniels, somebody you have to look for all the time in the passing game. Comes across the formation. Tough for a linebacker. That time it's Von Miller trying to stay with him. That little shake as he comes across. How about this? And the power and the smarts to know where he's at to reach out to get the touchdown.
He did power ahead, didn't he, those last 3 or 4 yards, even with a couple of Broncos there. He was not going to be denied. And the lead is at 20. Well, they've won their first 2 games by 20 and 20. And Schaub has a 4th touchdown pass of the day, which matches his career high. That drive, 5 plays. The big one, the 46-yard throw to Gene, and then Daniels, of course, does the rest on the last throw from Schaub, who was running in to the locker room. After having thrown 4 touchdown passes to 4 different Texans.
I think the thing that's so impressive about the Texans as we watch them today, Jim, and they just keep trying. In other words, they're pushing it. Brian Cushing said it best. We are the aggressors, and they are on both sides of the football. Gary Kubiak constantly looking for the big play down the field. I don't know if he was a little upset right there because Matt Schaub was running in or something happened else on the field.
So one hopper will be run out by Bolden. Across the 20, across the 30. And Bolden with a flag down and somersaulted at the 40-yard line. But it's coming back.
Holding during the return, number 81, 10 yards to the spot of the foul, first down.
Well, Jim, let's go back and look at that touchdown real quick. Owen Daniels is going to come up, go across the field, and you're going to see Von Miller trying to cover him. As he comes up off the line of scrimmage, Von Miller lets him get inside, and it's this little cell at the top of the route, not much, but going across the field, running the way, and what a job of powering in the end zone. Simple, about the talent on the field, gets it done.
Penalty brings the Broncos back near the 10 instead of out across the 40. And McGahee remains out. Down the sideline, and that was thrown toward Decker. Tightly covered there by Jackson.
Wow. It's been tough. The coverage is tight too. The times that these receivers have gotten open is when Peyton Manning is moved out of the pocket. The initial look has not been good.
Almost intercepted as Joseph jumped in front of Thomas.
This is the favorite play for Peyton Manning. Up top, he comes underneath, the receiver comes out, he's reading, he sees the defender on the inside goes out, and look at Jonathan Joseph, Jim. He reads it, sees the play, and just misses the interception.
And jumps it, very nearly picks it. Thomas able to strip it as Chavez returned to the field. 3rd and 10. Nice catch. Decker.
What a catch. Good job, Peyton Manning. Steps up in the pocket. That gives him the extra time. It's a double move. Kareem Jackson all over it. But I don't know how many times we've seen this today. The back shoulder throw.
Good for 26 and a first down. Here's Decker again. Hasn't been touched. He might have been able to pick up some more yardage, but he slid down near the 50.
Did he give himself up? So when you slide like that, if you pause just for a second, the officials are taking it, you are giving yourself up. Play is over. Yeah, I don't know why.
Didn't understand why. It's coming over to Thomas. It's good for 3. And probably run out the quarter. 31-11. Texans after 3. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. We start the 4th quarter here in Denver. Matt Schaub tying a career high so far. 4 touchdown passes as the Texans like that margin of 20. On it for the 3rd straight week as Manning's pass falls incomplete, intended for Dreesen. There was that rather strange slide by Eric Decker right before the end of the 3rd quarter.
You know, he was treating it like it was a 2-minute situation before the half, trying to get down to save time. But you as a wide receiver, Jim, you are allowed to give yourself up, because we've seen some plays, the NFL trying to clarify those rules. So it was blown dead immediately on the field when he made that slide. Feet first.
And that one in the hands of Quinn for just a moment. Glover Quinn. Now will they go for it on 4th down?
Against Jacob Tammy, it's a look where the safeties are split back there. So Peyton Manning trying to get down the middle of the field. And Glover Quinn, boy, he's been a nice addition too, or I shouldn't say addition, just playing well so far this year.
They're going to punt it here on 4th down. 10 seconds into the final quarter. Colquitt, 2 beauties in the first quarter, and that one bounces right over the head of Tony Carter. So Houston will commence at the 20 when we return here to the Mile High City. Texans trying to get to 3-0 for the first time ever. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Texans and Broncos. Jim Nantz here with Bill Sims. Houston leading at 31-11, and 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately after the game. Except on the West Coast, it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. As Foster comes back and moves ahead for about 4. Well, the lesson here for the Texans has been patience. Patience. And that man right there trying to build a franchise that has great character, trying to build it the right way. Son Cal right alongside Robert McNair, Bob McNair, and his team being rewarded for all that patience right now with this team.
Well, they are. Last year, he stayed patient, kept Gary Kubiak on board, and Rick Smith, the general manager, and look what happens. They get to the playoffs. Now they got a team that it's Jim and had speed, youth, it has it all, experience, but maybe the most important thing is they have depth, because they've kept the same coach, same general manager, and they've had the same philosophy for 7 years.
You know, when they lost that game we mentioned earlier 2 years ago here, they fell to 5-10, and people were howling. They needed to make a change. And Bob McNair said, I will not have any of that. And here they are 2 seasons later, and there's only one unbeaten team at the moment in the AFC, and that would be Houston. With San Diego losing, they were the only 2 coming into the weekend without a loss.
That was Rick Smith. To the left, drew the line on. General manager Joe Mays.
You know, Rick also has ties to this Broncos organization coming out of their personnel department. There he is. How about those recent drafts with guys like J.J. Watt, Brooks Reed, and on and on.
Brian Cushing. I said, you know, picking up Arian Foster, even Ben Tate, 2nd-round pick, has rewarded them too. And of course, one of their first moves is to go get Matt Schaub as their quarterback.
So Mays, injured on that last play, goes to the sideline. 2nd and 6. He's got room. He's got a first down. And we have an update as we're going to send it back to James Brown in New York.
Rangy Ben helping to extend the Steelers' lead.
Guys, talking about speed in Houston. How about in Pittsburgh? Antonio Brown, he takes this one 10 yards, fumbles it. He'll get the ball back here. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. And got Mike Wallace on the other side. Pittsburgh up 31-21.
Jim Nantz, Phil Simms.
What a day for Roethlisberger with those 4 touchdown passes to Brown, to Wallace, and 2 to Miller. And that Denver defense has been going really now for over a quarter without Tracy Porter on the field. He's standing on the sideline after a couple of touchdowns given up with Porter in the area. It's Foster for 1. How about some of the big plays by the Texans today? This is the only catch, by the way, in the afternoon by Andre Johnson. Went for 60 and a touch.
Well, 6 plays of over 20 yards on an offensive possession there, Jim. And the Texans offense, it really is this. Run the football, look for big plays when we throw it. Today, they got to be happy. This is the perfect example of the way they want their offense to look.
Those 6 plays by 6 different Texans. Mays returns after missing 1 down. It's been Tate in the backfield, and the pass is caught by James Casey for a short game. Every Wednesday in prime time, JB, Chris, Phil bring you America's greatest take on the week's action inside the NFL. Wednesday on Showtime. Spill on yourself this week, and that made national news. A teabag. What were you doing there?
Drinking tea.
Yeah.
So I'm not always the smartest thing.
Wearing it too.
Yeah, I wore it too. That's right.
3rd down at 7. And that's thrown over the head. Andre Johnson. There is a flag thrown, and it's probably going to be on Champ Bailey, who was covering.
But it would look like it was going to be a double move. and there was contact on the top. So here we are, 31-11. The Texans throwing the football, looking to go for the big play.
Illegal contact, number 24 on the defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Oh, there's the contact. You know, that is a good call. I mean, when you get right in front of the receiver on the second part of his move going down the field and stop it, you have to throw a flag.
Gives the Texans the first down at the 40.
But those are safe throws. You got a big 20-point lead, and you go, why throw it deep? Because those are sometimes the safest throws you can have as a quarterback.
Foster tripped up first by Harris. Picks up 3. Foster now up to 86 yards on the afternoon.
And this offensive line, you know, I thought one of the big stories of this game today was Derek Newton, Antoine Caldwell. Would they be able to stop Von Miller, Elvis Dumerville? We saw it in the first play of the game. I thought, boy, it's going to be rough for the Texans. Really haven't heard of any problems ever since the very first play of the game for the Texans offense.
Tony Carter comes in for Harris, who was shaken up. As Ayers goes Foster past his old college teammate, Robert Ayers. And he picks up another first down, gliding for another 9.
Jim, you were talking about draft picks. Let's just watch big 76, Dwayne Brown, pulling out in space, gets contact with Raheem Moore, and allows Arian Foster to get some extra yards. Now, what a draft pick he was. He is truly one of those franchise left tackles. He can do everything. Run block, pass block, one-on-one against any pass rusher on his side.
Their first round pick back in 08. Now it's Tate's turn in the backfield. And another first down. Ball is out. It may have been Ayers who helped force it. And it belongs to Denver. Bannon with the recovery.
They just pull his arms off the football.
Vickerson who forced it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up. And by Borderlands 2. Mayhem awaits. Bring friends. In stores now. Rated M for mature.
A flicker of hope now for the Broncos as the Texans were trying to put together a game-ending drive, then cough it up. And the run by Lance Ball. Good for 11 and a first.
You saw Jim, Robert Ayers, Kevin Vickerson caused a fumble.
McGahee's on the sideline with his helmet off. Injured in the third quarter as Manning's down the field. Got a man. The ball's caught for a touchdown. It's Brandon Stokely. And Manning right on the money.
That's what they needed, a quick score. Brandon Stokely going to do a little move. No, he just outruns Bryce McCain and the safety. I thought he might have done a little move to get that wide open, but he just saw the opening, took it right down the middle of the field, and Peyton Manning right on the money.
His old pal Brandon Stokely. Those two hooking up for a touchdown for the first time since 2006. A fumble, and just 2 plays later, the touchdown. 38 yards, Peyton Manning to Brandon Stokely. And the Broncos with 9:49 to go Now trail 31-18. And number 18 showed you something with that throw, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that'll answer a few questions. He's fired the football down the field a couple times a day. Now look, we all know, I know, how he wants to play the game. If you make him throw it short, he will. But he likes those home run throws. No doubt about that. Well, Jim, I want to show you how they got the touchdown. Brandon Stokely, the Texans expected a different route. He goes down the field here. Watch the receiver outside. The corner's looking. There's Quentin Demps. He's got to play both receivers. No matter what he does, he's going to be wrong. Because even if he covers Stokely, look at the top of the screen. So the Texans were guessing on an outside route by the inside receiver, and they guessed wrong. Nice throw, nice route.
Tate on the sideline after the fumble. Foster back in. Houston coming out throwing, lobbed up, and almost caught by Raheem Moore as Mike Adams came in on Schaub. They tried to catch the Broncos off guard by throwing it down the field.
Well, they were expecting blitz, and they got it, but nobody blocking the outside rusher, and that is where Mike Adams. And again, Matt Schaub gets rid of it, but that was very dangerous. I would expect a draw here.
There it is, Bill. And the Broncos expected it as well. Vaughn Miller stuffing Arian Foster for a 2-yard loss.
Just think how quick it turned around, Jim. The stadium is dead. The Broncos actually were hanging their head. The Texans were on a game-clinching drive without question. The fumble, the quick touchdown, and look where we're at now.
Yeah, the building is shaking. On 3rd and 12. To a 2-yard gain and a 3-and-out. Didn't use much time on that short series.
One thing you got to like about this Broncos defense, they are not afraid. So when you need these 3-and-outs, they do it so much. Being aggressive and taking chances, it's not a big deal. So they were aggressive, and they got the 3-and-out.
McGahee, who got banged up in this half, comes over and gives Peyton an encouraging word. John Weeks snaps it back to Jones. Houston only used a little more than a minute in that series. Double teamed at the 26. 55-yard punt. And Manning coming back out after a quick strike touchdown the last time.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by NFL Mobile from Verizon, built to bring you the game. And by 1&1 My Website, where creating a business website is easy.
Eight minutes, 8 seconds remaining. And the Broncos have the football at the 26. Ball for 4.
You know, as you watch this game, I watched Monday nights, I saw them against Pittsburgh. I have to say, I don't know why they just don't play this, just hurry up the whole time. Peyton's comfortable, puts the defense on edge.
Catch, short gain, 3rd and 3 coming up. Stokely. The injury to McGahee, which happened on a carry early in the 3rd quarter, rib injury. He has not returned since then. Third and 3. Stokely 4 yards and a first. Antonio Smith was all over him.
Yeah, first off, what a job by Peyton Manning, just hanging in there and lobbing it to the outside. Brandon Stokely was going across the field, stopped, came back. Those are tough routes when it's just you and Bryce McCain.
Down the field. One-handed attempt, incomplete by Tammy.
Boy, that was close. I'm not sure he didn't get his feet in. Cleared out from the outside. Tammy breaks out. One. Oh, he didn't get it down.
He didn't hold on to it. It didn't,
he didn't? Okay.
No, it hit the ground and the ball came out, so he didn't take it all the way through. And he tried to make a nifty move. Meanwhile, back on second down, wide open. Stokely having a big quarter. Next week, NFL on CBS regional action. Some will get their game early. New England and Buffalo, Tennessee and Houston, San Diego, Kansas City. We'll be back here for Oakland and Denver, plus other regional action, all beginning with the NFL today at noon Eastern. Next Sunday here on CBS.
They go to this hurry-up offense. Of course, it tires out the defensive rush, but it gets Peyton Manning in good throwing rhythm.
Good pass too that should have been caught by Thomas.
That is back-to-back plays where the Houston defense has completely missed the coverage. Nobody that time on Thomas coming across the field. They double team the inside receiver. If he catches it, it's just another foot race.
That's 2 drops in the game for Thomas. Second and 10. That's Tammy holding on to it for another first down.
Texans sending in another defensive line to get some fresh pass rushers in there against Peyton Manning. And this is what happens. This is what happened Monday night. The defense starts softening up, gives you easy throws.
Was picked off that time by McCain. Manning has not been picked off in this game. He has 279 yards passing and a touchdown throw. In fact, he's tied all time as Peyton with Dan Marino with 300-yard games. 63 by Dan, 63 by Peyton. He's 21 yards away from having the record all alone.
All 4 pass rushers for the Texans, hands on their hips.
He is sacked back at the 46. And again, it's J.J. Watt.
But it doesn't matter. J.J. Watt just came into the game. That was his second pass rush. And he just keeps working. It's the coverage down the field that gives him that extra beat. And that's why you play coverage and only rush 4. Give your defensive lineman just an extra second to get to the quarterback, and Watt gets there.
Lost 6 yards and took more time off the clock. 3rd and 16. No flag. Thrown in the direction of Tammy. 4th down is coming up. Tammy may have been hurt. He was hit low. Oh, his left ankle got rolled by Quinn.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, his leg is, he just got his foot caught under there, Jim. You were right. Good coverage that time.
Jacob Tammy, who Peyton had a great familiarity with back Peyton's last season, 2010. He played that second half of the season once Dallas Clark got hurt, and Tammy caught 67 passes from Peyton virtually the last half of the year.
Well, 4th down, Jim. I do agree with this call. You got to go for it with 5:04 left. 2 timeouts, and you're down 13. an extra blocker in there. You need more time to throw it.
It heaves it down the field and over the head, but there is a flag in the middle of the field. He was directing that toward Thomas.
Illegal contact on the defense. Number 21, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Automatic first down. Coming off a 4th and 16 play.
Top of the screen, it's Bryce McCain, 21, just holds on him too long.
Yeah, that's like 16 yards down the field.
Yeah, it
not 5.
is. And how about this, though? He had Demarius Thomas deep. Everybody, that's what you got to be alert for. Peyton Manning, everybody's trying to play for the first down markers. He'll throw it over the top.
Kubiak had the red flag out as he now sees Stokely catch a 5th ball in this quarter. He had 1 catch through the first 3 quarters, and now Stokely is shaken. It may have landed on the football. Had a hit by Quinn. Gets hit from behind right here. Plays before.
This injury will be a charged timeout to Denver.
They're taking a timeout away from the Broncos, leaving them with only 1. Here's the lineup tonight on CBS. Begins with 60 Minutes, the full hour with President Obama and Governor Romney, followed by Person of Interest, The Good Wife and the Minimalist. Only CBS. Little discussion here, and I think John Fox is trying to make an appeal. He wants that timeout back.
Well, why it's a charged timeout is because you fake injury. Here we go. It's not going to be. It's inside.
It's an injury timeout that is not a charged timeout to Denver.
John Fox telling us this week that we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
I think it's, Jim, it's when it's inside the last minute. When there's an injury like that, you either get a penalty or you could take a timeout. But not inside 5 minutes.
2nd and 1. To the end zone he goes. He's caught for a touchdown. Demarius Thomas over Jonathan Joseph. And things turned around in Denver. This is going to be very close. Does he have the 2nd foot in? 1. No. The 2nd one is not in.
Oh, he's definitely out. That's a good shot of it. Since it's a touchdown, it's an automatic review. Called a touchdown, automatic review upstairs.
The previous play is under review.
Well, ruling on the field was a touchdown, but they'll get a different take when they see the evidence. Demarius Thomas has caught a touchdown in each of the first 2 games. It was ruled a touchdown for a 3rd straight week here, but it's being reviewed because the 2nd foot is not down.
Beautiful throw over the top. Demarius Thomas got to be a little more aware where you are on the football field. I know he was running full speed.
After further review, the receiver's 2nd foot came down out of bounds. As a result, the pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd down, 1 yard to go on the 31-yard line.
Well, I think if you're a defense and you're going to challenge Peyton Manning to throw it deep, are we getting some of those answers here right now, Jim? Here in the 2nd half.
There's some heat on these passes.
Yeah, it's like his arm loosened up. It's definitely, it's noticeable how much harder he's throwing the football.
John Fox has told us Hayden's health a total non-factor. He told us on Friday. That's a first down pickup on last ball. 5-yard total.
Still plenty of time. 2 timeouts left for the Denver Broncos.
And if you set it down, with a run by ball to the end zone to Decker, and that's a flag on Jackson. Pass interference will be the call.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 25. The interference took place in the end zone. The ball was placed on the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
It's the bottom of your screen. Kareem Jackson is in front of the receiver going towards the
75
football.
is eligible.
They must have saw it from the other side. He stuck out his right arm a little bit, but I thought he was in terrific position, Jim, and saw the football and going for it.
It's a 26-yard penalty that puts Denver at the doorstep, a yard away with 4 minutes remaining. Houston smothers that play. Lance Ball decked right away by Brady James. Lost 3.
Nobody blocked him from the backside. He read it and saw an opening and just shot the gap and made the tackle. It was square. Watch 53. Oh, he beats the blocker. That's how he got in there untouched.
Stokely back in a slot. Second and goal. We'll run it again and again. It's J.J. Watt making all kinds of plays in this game. 2-yard loss. He says it's crazy. I was delivering pizzas 4 or 5 years ago, and now I'm getting awards. It's unbelievable to me. I'm honored to have the award, but it's a lot cooler for the people that helped me get here. He's trying to help get Houston to its first ever 3-0 start. Third and goal. Manning's pass caught on the rebound for the touchdown. Joel Dreesen, the former Texan. Pass was thrown to Eric Decker, but it bounced off his hands. And there waiting for it was Dreesen.
They're trying to throw it to Dreesen. Out and up. He's covered. The receiver, Decker, comes underneath. He's the outlet receiver. Everybody is on this play. Payton tries to muscle it through the defenders. Gets the deflection and the touchdown.
Remaining. Driving extra point is good. 6-point lead now for Houston. We got an update, and we go to James Brown in New York.
Jim and Phil, a violent game, as you guys know. Take a look at wide receiver Darius Hayward-Bay, number 85 of Oakland, going up for this pass here. Hit hard by number 29, Ryan Mundy of Pittsburgh. Hayward-Bay out cold before he hits the ground, lay motionless for 11.5 minutes before being carted off. Thankfully, we get the thumbs up sign as he's en route to a local hospital for observation. Let's take it back to Jim Nance and Phil Simms.
Wow, that was a vicious hit. Thank you, JB. And the thumbs up given there by Hayward-Bay.
Well, Jim, let's go back and look at the touchdown. I think the speed of the throw got Peyton Manning the touchdown. Dreesen going to go out, going to go up. It's a double move. They love this. The receiver comes out. If the first guy is covered, here comes the person you look for. So as you run it, there's a nice move out by Dreesen. He goes up. They're all over it. And that deflection, really, the fact that the coverage was so good, Peyton Manning just tries to jam it in there. Hits the receiver in the hands, but look at that, 3 defenders there, nobody back.
Remember, this was 31-11 with 10.5 minutes remaining, and Houston had the ball near midfield, trying to put the game away, and then Ben Tate fumbled.
I think when we were around the Broncos on Friday, just talking to John Fox, it was amazing. Down 20-0 in Atlanta, and he was just talking. He goes, wow, we did so many things bad, but it's there we were. We had a chance to win. We had many chances to win, he thought. And I think they all believed if we'd have got the football back, there was no way they were going to stop us from scoring and winning. And I'm sure they feel the same way now. Their confidence, it has to be through the roof.
They need the stop now that they didn't get last Monday in Atlanta. Prater will send him to the 20-yard line. Phenomenal day of action around the league. Kansas City, monster comeback wins in overtime, dropping the Saints to 0-3. And how about Christian Ponder and the Vikings surprised the 49ers, their first loss. The Jets come from behind and win in overtime in Miami. Side. Ryan Harris is in there now at right tackle instead of Derek Newton. They went in his direction, picked up 3. Jamal Charles, he broke some big ones. Got a timeout called right now by the Broncos. Charles over 230 rushing. Ponder with good numbers. The Jets, Holmes caught a pass in overtime to set up the winner. They did have an injury in that game. Darrelle Revis injured a knee. Of course, there was other fantastic action, like Tennessee and Detroit in overtime, with the Titans winning 44-41.
Well, Jim, you get in situations like this, and you're on offense, 2 ways to look at it. You run the plays that you run the best, or Gary Kubiak calls a play that fools the defense, makes it easy on the offensive players.
Broncos down the 1 timeout, 2nd down and 7. And Foster to the 25, and a 3rd and 5 coming up.
Not identical to the situation Monday night, but really close.
Yeah.
Here they are,
And
a 3rd and 5.
And they allowed a big conversion at that very point late in the game. And Broncos have now taken their last time out. The fumble that led to 2 plays later, the touchdown pass. Then the 3 and out forced. The ricochet touchdown to Treason. And now again, Broncos cannot stop the clock, but they must stop the Texans here on 3rd down and 5.
Against the Atlanta Falcons, they had the perfect defense call to stop the play. They made a mistake. I don't think they'll make a mistake in this situation.
They played too far off the receiver, and he got the yardage needed. Again, Andre Johnson's call, only 1 ball today. Went for a touchdown, 60 yards. 3rd and 5, and there is Andre Johnson with his 2nd catch and the 1st down. And he was defended by Champ Bailey. Gains 12.
You know what they did, Jim? It's the formation. Look how they stacked them on both sides. Andre Johnson in the slot is going to go out and make it happen. And this is a tight throw. But they give that formation so they can get down the field and get just a little bit separation. And how about the accuracy in a really big spot by Ned Shaw?
And again, Denver can't stop it. 1st down, Houston. Foster just across the 40.
See, Gary Kubiak, the pressure's on. You're not doing a good job of getting open, so he gives them a formation to help them out. That's what you do.
They don't have to run a play till the 2-minute warning. Two-minute warning in Denver. With Houston leading at 31-25, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. us some math here real quick, Phil.
Well, it's about 43 to 45 seconds for 2 plays if you run the ball. Peyton Manning, if you don't get the first down, he's going to get the football with less than 30 seconds to go, providing you get the punt out.
Providing the Bronco defense can make a stop right here.
There you see the clock ticking away. Of course, you take it down to 1 second before you snap it.
Hating wanting that chance. He didn't get on Monday night. All hinges on this. Takes it down to 2 on the down clock, and they do stop Foster. Able to bring it down to about 32, 33 seconds. Then they'll punt it.
And what really helps you in so many things, time is so difficult for the Broncos, and they need a touchdown, of course, to win.
They've got Eric Decker back deep to return the punt instead of Jim Leonard.
Gary Kubiak's going to wait till there's 1 second on the play clock, and then he's going to call a timeout, I think. Well, he's backing up.
There you go. 33 seconds to go.
Timeout. Charge to Houston. That's their first charge timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Kubiak just wants to make sure. Let's go over our protection scheme one more time. Tell the punter what to do. In case there's a bad snap, go over every scenario.
Now, last week they were warming up Brock Osweiler, the rookie.
And he's getting ready now.
In case they have to heave one some 50, 60 yards down the field.
Well, you watched John Beck from the Houston Texans throw one about 67 yards before the game. So if Peyton Manning can complete 1 pass out of bounds, maybe 2, you might be able to buy enough time to get a 60-yard throw into the end zone.
Again, they'll have no timeouts to operate with. John Elway on that back row.
And of course, I'm talking about the perfect scenario happening there, but at least the Broncos are getting ready for it.
And again, Decker's not their normal returner. But Bolden all day long. Big time boomer here. Jones. And it's fielded the goal line. Decker should have let that one go. And he is tackled at the 14.
You're right. Let it go. Extra yards and, more importantly, extra time. Could have been the difference in one more play.
So they bypass either Bolden or Leonard, who had done the bulk of the returning, and they go with Decker, and he makes a decision that cost him some seconds.
Yeah, no question.
Cost them 6 yards because they're back at the 14.
And Jim, I understand you wanted, hey, maybe I could break one on the punt return, but you judge the punt. How high was that punt? Very. So you know the coverage is going to be down there around you.
Step aside, middle of the field, Decker on to the 30. Better hurry up now. Ball tumbling around. And the spike for one last snap.
Well, the only way you can get 2 snaps, right? Throw it down the field, get a defensive penalty. Even if the clock runs out, you get 1 more play.
Manning goes over 300 yards passing with that last play. Now has the all-time record alone with 64 games of 300 yards. 310, 2 touchdowns today, no picks. And they're going to stay with Peyton for this snap. That could end it. Go underneath, hook and ladder. It's Thomas tossing. Back out to Thomas, flips it. Ball's on the ground, and Houston has the victory. The Texans are 3-0 for the first time in franchise history. by 20 for the third straight week. They had it at that figure for a while. But they hold on here to take it on the road in a win by 6.
That was a terrific game, Jim. Really well played in moments by both sides. The Texans made some tough plays down the stretch to win the game.
Matt Schaub's 4 touchdown passes. That's the 50th regular season win for Gary Kubiak. What a sweet place for him to get it here in Denver. Broncos fall to 1-2. Houston's the only unbeaten team in the AFC with the victory here today.